Let's go. Howdy, friends, and welcome to another episode of Success from Day One, the show where we explore ideas, strategies, and stories that help you build stronger businesses, stronger organizations, and stronger communities. I'm your host, Super Dave Quinn, founder and chief inspiration officer of Day One Experts, and I'm glad you're here. Now, before we jump into today's conversation, I'd like to take a minute to thank our sponsors for today's episode, Miss Lori Vincent and the team Acceleration by Design. Lori has dedicated her career to helping rural communities think bigger, lead with confidence, and create lasting economic opportunity. If you're passionate about the future of rural America, I encourage you to attend the 2026 Stand Up Rural America Summit this July in Lake City, Florida. You can visit standupruralamerica.com and today and save your seat. Day One Experts is proud to partner with Lori once again this year. We'll be giving away one of our digital curb appeal audits, a $1,500 value to one lucky attendee. So if you register for the event, we're going to be giving that away to somebody who shows up and attends the event. Our digital curb appeal audit helps communities see themselves through the eyes of business owners, site selectors, and the visitor from the digital curb. We evaluate your community's digital first impression and provide practical recommendations that help you become more competitive. Lori, thank you for your leadership, your friendship, and commitment to helping rural America thrive. We're honored to partner with you today. Now, let's get to today's conversation. I'm very excited about this. I know I say this every month. I'm always excited just because I get to meet really cool people and have them on and share them with my friends and those who are in my ecosystem. So, guys, buckle up. It's going to be a great conversation. How many of you have had great ideas that your community talked itself out of because someone said, we don't have a budget for that? Too often we assume it takes big cities, big marketing budgets to create destinations people remember. But today's guest proves exactly the opposite. Julie Roller Weeks is the director of the Abilene Convention Visitors Bureau in Abilene, Kansas. Not Texas, not that one. It's the one in Kansas, the hometown of President Dwight D. Eisenhower. Under her leadership, Abilene has become nationally recognized for creative tourism campaigns that have generated attention far beyond what you'd expect from a community of its size. From Kansas Gunsmoke Trail to the world's largest belt buckle. Now, I've stopped there. Wait, I would have thought the world's largest belt buckle would be something Texas has, but apparently it's not. It's actually in Abilene, Kansas. She's also created the Kansas First America 250 mural. Julie has built experiences that people talk about, share, and travel to see. Her work has earned recognition from Newsweek, USA Today, True West Magazine, and numerous state and regional tourism organizations. Today, we're exploring three big ideas: how small towns can create big buzz without a big budget, why your community's next tourism asset may already exist, and how testing ideas can create the momentum that leads to transformational growth. So, whether you work in economic development, tourism, downtown revitalization, chamber leadership, or community marketing, this conversation is going to be packed with practical ideas you can put to work. Julie, welcome to Success from Day One.
Thank you so much. It's so good to see you again.
Well, I'm really glad to have you on. If y'all don't know, Julie I was fortunate to see Julie down in Gonzales. It was a Stand Up Rural America event, a regional workshop that Lori put on. And it was one of those moments, like as soon as I saw her presentation, I'm like, we have to get her booked because the energy that if you won't, you'll see when we get to this conversation, Julie. Like, I don't know that if we talk together, we would explode. There's so much energy going on. And I just knew there are so many people that would benefit from the experiences that you've had and all of your stuff. What I loved about it was none of it was because you were in the right spot and geographically blessed, or some of it is, but everything you've done is because you've created it. So let's talk a little bit about what that looks like. And we have folks from all over the country here. What are things that a small town economic developer who's out there is like, how do I do this? Where do they start? How do we help them?
I would say a day doesn't go by that you're not hit up by somebody wanting to sell you something. And it's, we can't compete financially for big ads. And ads are what I want you to see about my community. But we partner with a lot of content creators to tell our story authentically. So when they're talking about visiting Abilene or the great things we have, it's a lot more pure. People take that, with a lot more seriousness than if I'm just buying an ad. And I can host somebody really cheap. I can't buy the ads. But the other thing we do is we have fun projects and give people a reason to talk about us, because the best kind of media is earned media. And so from press releases about projects we're doing, we get in the news. And when I'm being featured in magazines that I've never bought an ad in, because of the projects we're doing, I think that's an absolute home run. I'll get calls from people and say, why are you in such and such magazine again? It's like, because we keep doing cool stuff. We're giving people a reason to talk about us. We're remaining newsworthy in front of mind. We're not the town that you visited once and we continue just to buy ads. And so I think that's a great way not only to get earned media, in our budget, but also create a lot of enthusiasm locally, because my town sees that we're constantly doing neat things to reinvent ourselves.
So one of the things that you mentioned, and I think everybody understands influencer marketing and
Mhm.
the power. Like I get Amazon packages pretty much every day, and when I ask where it comes from, it was like some influencer somewhere convinced one of my family to partake in that. And so I
Yeah.
think we get that. So help us understand, like, how do you start that? Like, because how do you know who's the influencer you invite to? Who do I host? Like you said,
Oh.
you host people really cheap. I think we all believe that, but how do we know who to host, and how do you deal with the uncertainty of what if they don't like what they see?
Definitely. So one thing I say when visiting my community, it's kind of what your mother taught you. If you don't have anything nice to say, just don't say anything. So if you go somewhere and you don't have a good experience, just don't talk about it. Let's talk about the positive. But I try to work with people who look like our visitors. We are not going to be the most trending town for the 20-something-year-olds. We're just not. Like, if you love history, without a doubt. But if you are wanting women's spa days with your girlfriends, we don't really have that. And so when those influencers reach out and say, I will come to your town for $15,000 and film a reel, it's like, no, this doesn't make sense. So looking at people that look like our visitors. And so one network that we've really partnered a lot with is the Midwest Travel Network. Those are travel writers who are really promoting traveling the Midwest. We've also partnered with Southern Travelers Explore, which at first I was like, wait a minute, like I'm not quite in their region, but they said, no, our people, our great following, they want to know other places to visit. And so they've been really good to work with. But a lot of times, all it is helping to cover their hotel, provide them with some meals, free admission. We're not paying thousands of dollars to influencers, not at all. But that content is really valuable for me to be able to share a snippet of in my weekly newsletter, on my social media, on our website. It's just, I need that extra content.
So when you talk about that, do you cut deals with them like it's your content, or is it just, hey, they're free to create their content. You're not really creating it or molding it, but you're sort of directing it, right? Like,
Uh, so I'll give them a list. First, I'll say, like, what are you interested in? What's a good fit for your audience? Like, if you are one of our travel writers is really big into agriculture, so they wanted to visit things that had tractors and ag museums and things like that. But we obviously never copy their stuff and just put it on our website or on our social media. We always share, and that's something our content creators are like, "Thank you for sharing. You would not believe how many people partner with us and never share it on their own channels." The
I
other
would
thing
believe
is,
you.
yeah, I mean, it's
I
it's a
do.
big complaint. I've heard it a lot. The other thing is, I'll take the first paragraph of their blog, I'll drop it in my newsletter, and I'll include a direct link to their blog to go read the full thing. Same thing on our website. So our website looks like we have thousands of different creators that have written for us, but it's just that first paragraph, and I send the traffic to their blog because it's their content. And so it's mutually beneficial. They love those link backs. But we have just a really good partnership, and I think it's authentic. I know when I go somewhere, I don't want somebody to herd me around and book every minute of my day. So it is really free, free to explore. So here are the things our community has to offer. Go and explore. Let me know if you have questions. Let's make it an authentic experience and something that it resonates with your following.
So part of it is just knowing who you are and being okay saying this is
Yes.
who we are, right? Like I'm not that.
No.
This is who I resonate with. How hard or how do people know? I think what I find is people don't often see the things in their community that other people would find interesting, right?
Yeah.
Like I grew up there, I don't get it. Like it's a cow. It's a cow. I've seen a cow. Right. But there are people who've never seen a cow and they would love to be like in its natural environment, not in a zoo, but like
Yeah.
this is an actual experience. So how do you have the eyes for that so that you can help kind of sell that story?
I would say, like, every town is like an onion, right? So when you go in, like, you see just the skin, the top layer of what a visitor sees. But as you start peeling it back, you see more and more things that you wouldn't have otherwise anticipated. Like, we actually have a ton of public art. And I don't think a lot of residents would recognize that at first. Like, we have some, okay, but like when you start thinking of how many and put a list together, it's like, oh, like you're an art town. Antique stores, that same thing. So looking at how you create a trail to package that, I think is a good way to reach out to some of those content creators to tell that story.
So how hard was it for you to get started? We talked a little bit about this, about our crazy ideas and stuff. And looking back, it's easy to say, "Oh, that was great." It was not at the time, right? Like everybody thought you were not. So, like if somebody wants to sort of start to move in this direction, what are some simple things they can do to get people's buy-in? I know how hard it is to get sometimes small town business owners to kind of buy into that's really important. So, what are some things that can help move the needle, or how do they get that started?
I think on your own website, on your own social media, I think those lists and those blogs are really valuable. And anytime you can cross promote with other places in your state, that's a win. For example, we created the Kansas Gunsmoke Trail. Never had thought of it before. One night I'm scrolling Facebook, a group pops up that has like 150,000 people in it. And it was a Gunsmoke fan club. And they said, are there still places in Kansas to visit with a connection to Gunsmoke? So I I know it's on
Yes.
TV all day, every day at my in-laws' house. So I Google, is Abilene ever featured in Gunsmoke? Well, lo and behold, we are. So I reached out to a couple other towns that were also mentioned in Gunsmoke and said, let's start this Gunsmoke Trail. And they're like, okay, like, why not? So all it was a blog. And it was just a list of things to do. But we got more earned media off of that silly blog that 4 communities in Kansas are launching the Kansas Gunsmoke Trail when all we did was write a blog. That was it. And then from there, I mean, it's grown and grown and grown. But
So
all it
Julie, I
was
just
a
real
list.
quick, you didn't get permission from the state to start
Yeah.
this. You just decided like, hey, there's 5 of us. Let's
Yeah.
just do this thing.
100%. No, there's 4 of us, and the towns I selected are ones I like working with. Um, there are plenty of others, but we just went with who has staff and capacity to execute to write this
Right.
blog, and we all put the same blog on our website. We received a Kansas Tourism Marketing Grant the next year for it. We created a digital passport. Some of my partners went to ABA, American Bus Association conference, and they're telling all these bus tours about the Gunsmoke Trail. That's entirely, just made up. And the state comes up to them and they're like, we're now getting people asking us about this. What are you doing? They're like, oh, well, we created this trail. And it was the number one asked about group tour at this event. And it was
That's
entirely made up,
amazing.
but it was telling our existing story in a new way. And people like lists. I mean, think of all the times you're scrolling Instagram or TikTok or whatever, and here are the top 5 whatevers. That's all we did was create a list and reimagine our existing assets in a new way.
Gosh, I love that. You mentioned also your email list.
Yeah.
Is that an email list of just local residents?
Oh, no.
How did you start to build an email list? I mean, you had to start ground zero. I have nobody on the list. How do you go from
Yeah.
zero to a list that's actually worth monetizing or leveraging, I
Yeah.
guess?
Um, I would so anytime anybody requests a copy of our visitor guide, our print visitor guide, we also get their email, and so we add it to it. Just over the years, I've developed a list, and we send to about 8 to 10,000 people, but it goes out every single Thursday, no matter
Oh,
what. And
man.
so whether people open it or not, they're seeing a message from Abilene, Kansas every Thursday in their inbox.
How that's every Thursday is a
Yeah,
lot of
but it's not. It
no, it's
honestly
not. I mean,
isn't.
I know like if you're getting it, it's important to be there
Yeah,
weekly, but how do you keep up with that content? Like you got
it's
to feed the beast, right? Like that's a
Well,
lot
but
every.
it's really not though. Like once you create those systems, it's plug and play. So you think about everything you're sharing on your social media.
Okay.
Anytime you're mentioned in the news, you drop a little snippet in your newsletter and you link to the news story. Content creators, you link over to their stuff. You include events. You write
So
a
are you
couple
using
blogs
like
a week.
you're using like a constant contact or
Yeah,
some email system,
yeah.
and you're just grabbing other people's sort of links
Mhm.
and things linking back to it. So
I
you're
am an
sort of
aggregator.
collecting aggregator. Yeah, that's a great
Yeah,
word. I
I
like that word.
aggregate the
Yeah,
information and I spit it back out every Thursday, and every Thursday people's inbox has some positive news about Abilene.
I love it. Okay.
People might not visit this month, this week, this year, but they'll say, "I've been receiving your newsletter for the last 3 years, and we're coming." And originally, we planned to just go to the Eisenhower Presidential Library Museum, but now we've realized all the other things to see and do in Abilene, and we're going to be staying 3 days.
That's amazing. So do you work with your like tourism? You're sort of are the tourism. A lot of our
Yeah,
folks that watch this are on the economic development side,
yeah,
also doing community development, also
mhm,
helping out the main street. Also, like we get to pay for a lot of stuff because we're the economic development arm.
yeah,
So that's cool. But
yeah.
how do you work with like your restaurants and your hotels? Because that's all we always talk about that, right? Like you can say one thing about your community, but when the visitor gets there, who tells the story is the hotel lobby person or the Uber or the cab driver or the
Yeah.
gas station if you're buying gas or whatever. How do you manage that experience from your position when people come to town?
I would say, I mean, we're all struggling with that. Workforce is a challenge. Those frontline workers, they don't stay in the positions long enough to really gain a lot of depth. The one thing we do have going for us is we're a long-standing tourist community. Dating back, to Eisenhower, and really, if you want to go all the way back, we were the end of the Chisholm Trail. The Cowboys came here.
I've been doing
Tours
it
up
for a while.
1867, right? So we do have that reputation as a tourist community, and so our frontline workers have a base level knowledge of what there's to see and do. We make sure that they have visitor guides. At the hotels, obviously, we're funded by the bed tax when people stay there. So we do have a really good relationship with our properties because ultimately we need people to spend the night or we don't have a marketing budget.
Right.
So it's in our best interest to promote them and to promote our restaurants and anything we can do to help extend a stay to generate that overnight.
Do you do any promotions or stuff with the different local businesses like downtown boutiques or different things like that to kind of help drive, you
Um,
know,
so so we, I mean, we don't do ads in our visitors guide. We just pay for it. We get it out there. So everything we do is really value added for them. But then anytime we feature them in a blog or any social media, our year-long campaign is America Likes Abilene. So every day it's a post about America likes shopping local, America likes trains, America likes Ike, whatever that is. I mean, that's all free promotion that we do to support them. Our visitor center refers people to those businesses. We work with group tours, whether they want to go and just, visit old-fashioned hardware stores or antique stores, work with the restaurants to find out which restaurants do want group tours, who's open when. That is obviously a moving target for all of us. I think we can all, commiserate in some of those challenges. And it's hard. It's really hard business, especially when you're locally owned businesses. But, for big holiday weekends and things, making sure that our hotels have the list of what's open, what's not, making sure that that's shared with visitors ahead of time. Those are some of the ways that I think we can add value. The other thing is we do have a few special events. So our Abilene Downtown Antique Fest, we have a lot of antique stores. We've always kind of been known for that. And so packaging those and promoting Antique Fest is something that we can help with.
So, how big is your staff? Do you have a ton of people? What's your staff like? So people don't, if you've got an army of people, that might be easy, but
Yeah.
what's your staff look like?
1.5. And I promise she is a full-size person. She is just part-time. So yeah, you're looking at it.
It's truly, when you look at your body of work, I mean, it does look like, I think it rivals some of the larger tourism offices that have multiple staff traveling all the time to to promote their communities. It truly is amazing. That's what I wanted. I mean, I knew you had 1.5. I love the line that you used, but I wanted people to hear that it's not 10 different people.
No.
It's a passionate person with a half a person also helping, right?
Yeah. Oh, and she's phenomenal in the visitor center and cares more about your visit than anyone you'll ever meet. We don't go like to a lot of travel shows or national things. I'm most valuable when I'm in the office. So I think people think, oh, she's gone all the time. I'm really not, because somebody has to create that content. And when I'm out, I have to still keep that machine going, or I come back to double the work. And so I try to work more out of my office than being on the road and going to those things, because it's hard to justify. I mean, those booth expenses, I think, basic math, right? For every room sold, we get $10. So if a booth is $1,000, we need to sell 100 rooms as a result of me being in that booth.
It better be a really good show, right?
Right. Yeah. And that's not counting like our expenses, my time, loss of productivity in the office, all of those things. It just doesn't compute. And I think a lot of people don't realize just the dollars and cents of it all. And so I just take it down to the $10 and it's like, oh yeah. So if you want us to buy a $5,000 ad, am I going to sell that many rooms as a result of it? No, I'm not. But I am going to buy a few larger strategic ads. We buy the back cover of the Kansas Travel Guide. We're a town of 6,500 people with, transient guest tax of 200,000 at best. So I buy the back cover of that. We look much bigger, much more impressive, than our population is. But when people see that, because they print 400,000 copies of it, they think we're a real player.
Right. It's really about setting the mindset or perception in people's minds, right? You're very strategic in how you do that.
I certainly try. I mean, I would say like I'm the duck that's like paddling like what under the water, but trying to cast a few big stones and do it with complete enthusiasm.
Right. So
and being your brand.
When you're talking about, it feels like you're always sort of on and looking for opportunities. Like your antenna, not you're working, but your antenna is up. Yeah. Just like scrolling through Facebook and seeing a group of people who are interested in a topic that might connect to you, you're not sure. How is that something you just learned to do? Is that just innate? Like that's just like, I know when I go into economic development, small town, I can't help but like asking questions of the business owner about how their economic development's working with them. And they're like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Yeah. And my wife's like, leave the store owner alone. They don't care about that, right? Is that something you sort of train your mind around, or how where do your ideas, how do they come, or how do you get that mindset?
I would say like my number one strength and my number one weakness is belief. And when I believe in something, I am in 110%. And if I don't, it's really hard to get me excited about it. And I genuinely have the ability to see the good. I mean, even in the toughest situations, I mean, you talk about COVID and everything we were going through then, but to reimagine things, to still be able to see the good. I've traveled our state a lot, and to be able to roll into a small town and be like, wow, this is so cool. They have a rock hanging from a chain and it tells the weather. Like, this is just amazing. I loved it. Just to have a natural curiosity and that explorer mindset. I think you're always looking at opportunities. We travel and my husband's like, what? I'm like, we need to turn around and go see this. Like I found it on this app or in this book or, whatever. And then I'm competitive, and how can I rip this off and, do it better in a different way in my own community?
So when you're talking about your tool chest,
Yeah.
do you have a recommendation of like if you can only afford three things or five things? We said list, right? Our
Yeah.
guys like lists too. What are the three you have to have foundational tools that allow you to operate at the level you're operating with only a person and a half? What's your tool chest look like?
I would say number one, professional photos, without a doubt. We update our professional or our photo library every year. And that is so helpful because when I'm doing any social media, I have great photos and they tell the story. Also, anytime I'm sending a press release, whether we're getting an award or it's about an upcoming event, I have photos to share with that. And if you have good photos, it's going to be a front page story in your newspaper, and your local television stations, I mean, really throughout the state, are going to pick it up. Magazines are also going to pick it up because if they want to talk about your event, say Oktoberfest, in their magazine, and it was going to be just a little blurb, but you can send them a file of high resolution professional photos, it now becomes a double page spread. Same thing with our train. It's like, we're going to do a little snippet in our magazine about your train. It's like, okay, great. Do you have any photos? I'm like, sure, help yourself, free for your use, to do whatever you need. Send them the Google Drive file, and it's a double page spread. And beautiful, beautiful photos. And we're controlling that. We're
So are
making
you
their job
working
easier.
with multiple photographers, like whenever you have an event, or do you have sort of a
I've worked with a
group that you
few.
use?
We have one that's in our region who is originally from our community, and I every year just give him a shot list and say, "This is what I need," and he can go and do it. I don't have to handhold. He's comfortable here, but that is the best money we can possibly spend because the earned media I get out of that, plus being able to use it in my newsletter, my website, social media, so valuable.
So do you share that with other organizations in your community that so that they have access to that too? Like if
I
they're doing
don't.
events or
I don't because I try to protect our brand. I
gotcha.
want to recognize, this is the strength of my organization and this is who we are and what we do. And I don't want to step on other toes and have confusion with that because then
Right.
people would think, oh, she's just the free chamber or economic development organization. There's not value in joining over here. And so I
Gotcha.
do try to differentiate ourselves. Obviously, want to be an excellent partner to our economic development organization, but try to protect those individual brands. Here's their lane, this is our lane, and this is how we collaborate.
So I guess we should have started that too. Like you might explain your brand in your community. Where do you fit in all of those pieces?
Yes. So I'm a department of the city of Abilene. And so my job is to focus only on promoting Abilene. During COVID, our Chamber of Commerce in the community dissolved and it gave itself to our countywide economic development organization. And so they work through multiple communities throughout the county on all things business. And that really is their lane. And they do a great job. They have a phenomenal new director who does that. So I'm the rah-rah cheerleader for visiting Abilene, and they are strengthening businesses, attracting businesses, helping them grow, just really promoting, wanting to live here.
Okay.
Do business.
So we talked about good photos. What's
Yeah.
what's two more products or tools that you absolutely use every day?
Your blog. I work on our blog all the time, and AI can help you so much with that. And just say, hey, give me a list of potential blog topics I can do because you reach a point where there's only so many times you can say the same thing about your town. But it's like, no, how about 7 great ways for grandparents to enjoy Abilene with their grandkids? It's like great, and then updating that so then I have content for social media and our newsletter. But keeping that blog fresh really helps, I think, with AI and searchability and making sure that your website is still relevant.
How often are you posting to that? Is that a daily thing, a weekly?
Several
What's your
times a week
cadence?
normally.
Okay.
Yeah. And then depending on what it is, I can share it with some local media outlets as well.
Okay. So we've
Yeah.
got a good blog, good
Mhm.
photos. What's another piece that people need?
Oh, goodness. I would say just saying yes. When opportunities knock, say yes. Figure it out along the way. I was sharing earlier, I have a wish list of things for my community. I mean, it's kind of a personal wish list, a work wish list of, things I would like to make my community better. And one of them was a bronze Wild Bill Hickok statue. Wild Bill Hickok was our town marshal and the height of our cattle trade era. And I've always just wanted one. And a year ago, a woman called and said, my father passed away. He was an artist. And I found this sister piece to the piece that's on his grave in Deadwood. My father did that as well. Are you interested? I'm like, this is literally on my wish list. Yes, of course. And I embraced it with open arms. And so sent it to the foundry. It's been bronzed. This week we announced the project. I sent it out to all of our media partners. It's been on statewide news. We have an event in August to, dedicate this statue. But just say yes. You never know when the phone call is coming. So have an idea of things that you want, but just say yes.
I love it. All right. So Julie, thank you so much. We'll open up now. We have any questions? We have a few people on. We have a lot of, like I said, we have a lot of note takers and we've got a few people. You guys have a question you want to ask Julie before we wrap up? No? All right. Well, Julie, make sure, or Jane, make sure I didn't not miss some something there?
You didn't miss anything. I just wanted to say, Julie, it's funny because you don't really know what's in your town. I love what you said that. Like, we got a call because a lot of people associate Dave with just Texas. And we got a call from somebody inside an economic developers community was like, listen, we have a legacy family, or we have a family that wants to sell off their land, but we know we can trust Dave. And so we could get in there. But it was just the very fact that no one knew that this amount of acreage would be available
Oh, absolutely.
soon. And so Dave was like, well, you should call the economic developer to help them out. But it's just like once you start telling the story, people that are like, oh, well, Julie will know my story. I need to talk to Julie. Julie's got that. So that's awesome. I love what you're doing.
I mean, that I've built enough credibility that they know, like, if I do something, I'm going to do it well. I'm going to be honest and transparent with people. With respect to land, I mean, one of my other really great community partners is our community foundation. If you are not partnering with your community foundation, I mean, even as an economic development organization, you're missing out. What they have been able to do for me, for our community, for economic development is truly phenomenal. And they have a mindset of saying yes.
I love it. So talk a little bit real quick about the community foundation, what that is, what like
So cool.
what is it, what's the role that it plays in your community? And I truly believe it's important, but I want to hear your take on what it is and what they're doing.
So, okay, this is going to come off wrong. I hate scholarships. I hate people taking money from our community to send kids away. I think it's dumb. I really do. So our community foundation also has a scholarship home program that after you've been away and you want to come home, they will help bring you home and help with some of your student loans. But the neatest thing they did is impact investing. So rather than give a man a fish, they're teaching him to fish. So if you have a business idea that's a little risky, and let's face it, small town business ideas are risky, they will be the parent, for approved projects and co-sign on your loan. So as long as you work with a local bank, which local banks love it, they'll
Yeah.
co-sign to put their full faith and credit behind your business. And as long as you make their payments, their money is still invested in their accounts. They're still earning interest on it. You now get to have your business and everybody wins. They could be investing in just Apple and Google, but they're investing in Main Street. And so them being willing to back those loans has resulted in a meat market, restaurants, a tap house, our golf course, childcare facilities throughout the county. It's been really, really phenomenal. But as long as those people still make their loan payments, money doesn't change hands. It's still invested, it's still earning. And I think that's the neatest way that we can help invest in our own.
Gosh, I feel like now we need to have them come on because
Oh, please do. Oh, they're
I would love,
phenomenal.
yeah, help us connect with them because
Without a
again,
doubt.
I feel like there's so much wealth that leaves a community when they have
Yes.
people that pass away and the kids have gone on. And to your point, like if you have a way to capture that and then
Yeah.
and with the right intention, you can reinvest in the community and it's a great way. It sounds like they've developed a great way to do that. So I would love
It's
to bring them on and share that because what an amazing story.
it's been so good. And when they started this, they weren't using donor money. That was a concern of, oh my goodness, you're going to use my scholarship money for this. Nope, they use their own funds. Like, we're going to put our money where our mouth is. We believe in this program. We're going to set aside X amount of dollars and we're going to help small businesses start. I
That's
think it's
awesome.
absolutely amazing. It's something I could talk about all day. It's innovative and it makes sense. Like, it just makes sense.
Yeah, but we talk about that. Like it is really risky. Business anyway is risky. You put it in a
Yes.
small town with no infrastructure in place from a support system, right? Like
Mhm.
it you need that. And a banker wants to, but like they can't.
No.
They need the credit and they need some of that. So what an awesome opportunity.
It's been really good. Sometimes the bank will say, I have to have somebody else come in on this. Like, the numbers just don't quite work. And when the foundation can do that, it's a win. Restaurants, so risky. Small town businesses, all of that. But knowing that the foundation has your back, their board members are supporting you. They're also talking about you. I think having that culture of wanting those businesses to succeed is really good for everybody.
Nice. Well, Julie, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your experience, your creativity, your passion in helping your community realize really what's possible. I mean, it's amazing. I love the energy. I can feel it, and I love being part of that. So thanks for spending time with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for jumping on and spending a part of your day with us. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you found value in today's conversation, be sure to subscribe and share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. And join us next time as we continue bringing the conversations with leaders like Julie, who are helping others succeed from day one. I'm your host, Super Dave Quinn, and remember, every great story begins with one decision to act. So go love your neighbor, be a difference maker, and if you happen to see a cart in the parking lot, put the damn cart up. We'll see you down the road. All right, there we go. That should get us where we can edit and be good to go, and it'll look good on the YouTubes. Julie, thank you.
Thank you.
Guys, y'all have any more questions? She's still here. Might not be in the YouTube video part, but now if you want to ask a question, now would be a good time if you want. But she has given us a few minutes, so I know we have some pretty crazy stories and good stories in Texas. I think a lot of times we just don't we we take them for granted. I think one thing that's
Yes.
happened from the World Cup is we're seeing our world from other people's viewpoint
Yeah.
who don't like being able just to walk down the street in a neighborhood, folks from a different part of the world that can't happen, and they don't have the space, and in their mind it's like this idyllic location, and us it's like this everyday neighborhood. It looks like every other neighborhood, but we
Totally.
forget the wonder of our own country sometimes.
We're about 2.5 hours away from World Cup in Kansas City. So we've had international travelers. They've come to ride our train, obviously to see Eisenhower. They've been at the belt buckle, but it's just been really positive. I think, I mean, the funniest one I recognize is just like everyone's love for ranch.
The
been,
big
like, all
question
over
is,
the
what are they
news.
going to do when they go home? Like, if they don't have it, what are they going to do? Like,
It's like
opening up a
TSA
market.
saying you need to check it in your bag, don't carry it on. It's like, well, why don't you just get like the powder? Like you could just make it. Like just get the packets. Don't like lug the jug with you. But
Right.
things that we take for granted. I mean, in the Midwest here, like we love ranch like with everything.
Right.
And so for them to discover that as well, it's like, yeah, I never really thought like I could have like the best ranch in Abilene contest, right?
I'm telling you, there could be it could be a global thing, right? Like you bring in international guests to,
Yes.
be the taste testers or something.
Right? Oh, I think it would be fun. I've always wanted to put together like a group tour of old-fashioned hardware stores across the state. Because think of all of those things like you never knew you needed, and you can spend like hours in some of those places.
And you have no idea what it does, but you're like, it feels like I need it in my home now.
Yeah, and it has like a sticker on it from like the 1980s. Like this is really cool. Like my grandma had one, but this is like brand new, but old, but new.
And there's a certain smell when you walk into a good old-fashioned hardware store. Like, I love the smell of those things.
Yeah. We have a ton of like historic homes, so we created the Little Town of Mansions website that tells like the history of all of those homes.
Right.
Particularly like on Mondays when more things are closed and people are like, what else? It's like, well, check out this website as you drive around, see the history of the homes and who lived there. And but that was an existing asset we had. The other thing was our churches. We have a crazy number of churches. I would say in some respects it's because we're passionate and we don't always get along, but it's so this summer we had celebrate freedom of religion. And so all the churches had an open house because you could go in the churches, admire the beautiful stained glass and the architecture without being recruited to join a committee or, to serve communion or something like that. But that was an existing asset we had that welcomed people during that time, no matter what, just to come in and explore.
Right.
So there's just so many things that we have. We just need to repackage.
Gosh, Julie, thank you so much. We could spend hours doing this. I love it. Thank you for agreeing to do this and being open to yes, and look forward to seeing more good things coming out of Abilene, Kansas. So thanks for joining us today. Bye, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us.